The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to this morning's Marketing Clinic with your hosts, Craig Proctor and Todd Walters.
Oh, thank you, Andrea. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be doing what we always do on Friday, which is looking at your ads and helping you become better marketers. If you really just copy what we've got here and apply the program, you will see great results, and that's what we're going to help you do, is become great copiers. And to help me today, I have our Platinum Coach, Mr. Todd Walters. Todd, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, Craig. Glad to be here. Nice to hear from you and talk with you. Looking at some of these ads here in the pre-conference here, looks like we've got some stuff to talk about. So,
well, let's have a look at ad number one. Ad number one, from Keller Williams. I can't read our member's name on here. I don't know. Can you read that?
No.
No. Okay. So I guess it's an approach at branded advertising, but when you're branding yourself, you probably want people to know who you are. And I can see it appears a real estate license number under the Keller Williams logo, but I guess right in the corner it says Bob. I can't barely read that.
Yeah, bottom left-hand corner. It's down there.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
it's a secret.
That's the best way we're going to promote who we are. I mean, the idea with branded with your USP advertising is you kind of want to let people know who you are and what makes you different and better. And so we've got a guaranteed sale logo here. Your home sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it. But we're not really telling people what to do. There's no call to action. So, Andrea, if we could please go over to the ad generator, and let's have a look at what this ad is supposed to look like. Okay, so again, folks, we've got templates for this stuff. Todd, you've said many, many times, if you will just copy, you will succeed. So there it is. Okay, we've got many different versions of the guaranteed sale program, like the headline, but you need a call to action. So for more information on my exclusive guaranteed sale program, order a free report by visiting, and there's the domain name, and there's the free recorded message, or call me direct. See, that's what we need to do. We need to tell people what to do. Okay, what do you want me to do? Your home guaranteed, or I'll buy it. In fact, I can't even see a phone number on this piece. Under the properties, I guess that's a phone number there. And we got a recorded number here. But if I want information, if I want to get a hold of Bob, how do I do that? Oh, is it down there in small? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that stuff's got to be up there at the top, right? So we have a headline, and then that's the call to action, I guess, down there. Can you just highlight that again for me, Andrea? It says, get a free report that details the inner workings of this exclusive offer. That's a bit of a disconnect there. So we've got the headline up top, and then we've got the call to action down by Bob's right elbow. And we've got a picture of, appears to be a barber shop in between.
Right. So, like, what's the offer? Is it the offer to buy the barber shop, or is it an offer to
I don't know.
Get my haircut? So we've got to, you got to put yourselves in the prospect's shoes. It's like you're talking to a fifth grader. You got to assume that they don't understand really anything. So here's what I've got for you. Here's what it'll do for you. Here's what I want you to do now. It has to be very clear in these ads. And I like the attempt to use the guaranteed sale program as distinguishing the difference between Bob and everybody else. But yeah, the marketing piece falls short in terms of what is it that you're offering me and what do you want me to do now. And yeah, so if you go to the ad generator, it's hard to mess that up.
Go back there again, please, Andrea. And I do believe we have not that headline, but try to find the headline that matches up with Bob's. Okay.
Yeah, so that's it right there, 22.4. He just took out. He just doesn't have any days in it. It's either S4 or S1.
Right. Your home sold. Okay. Your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it. And in our version, we've got your home sold in X amount of days, or I'll buy it. But the template is there, folks. It's right there. That's exactly what my ads look like. It's what Todd's ads look like. You'll notice it says agent's name. The picture is in the top. The headline spans the top of the marketing piece. Then we've got the call to action. And if below that you want to have your property ads, that's exactly the way that Todd and I ran our ads. Do you have any examples of my ads, Andrea, that you can show? A listing page, perhaps?
I believe I do. I can, let me look a little and see what I can find.
Okay.
And just for some clarification for our members, this is a postcard. It's going out to businesses and non-owner occupied mailing addresses. So he has a very specific group of people that he's sending this message to.
All right, let's have a look at ad number 2, please.
Now, ad number 2 and 3, these are from Ernest, and 0 leads on both of them. Unfortunately, he was not able to get the paper to put the marketing as he wanted, so he was not happy with how the paper did it. Ad number 2 was free, and then ad number 3 was $150.
Okay, so your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it myself. Are we able to make that bigger? That is like a replica of what we just looked at in the ad generator. Only difference is Ernest has his picture down at the bottom. Not a big deal, I guess. I always had mine at the top next to the benefit. And those are Ernest's listings below, correct? No?
Can't
Maybe
confirm
not.
that.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No? So typically, Todd, that's how our ad would look like, just like Ernest, but those properties below would be our listings. So we would run this headline above our properties.
Yeah, and I think that's important to say that, is that the standalone performance guarantee ad, which is what Ernest has here, it does work better when it's in a place where people go to look for real estate.
Right, where there's eyeballs. Exactly what I was going to say. Exactly what I was going to say. It works best where there's eyeballs, and there's eyeballs from prospects where there's houses. So that's why I always ran this on top of a full page of all of my listings. So there's the eyeballs, and the headline might say, move up to any one of these listings and I'll buy your home for cash, or your home sold, or all bought, or your home sold in X amount of days. We give you different variations of those headlines that you can test, but it's all the same program. It's the guaranteed sale program. But I must say, I really like what Ernest has done a lot more than what we just looked at.
And just some clarification, Ernest is in the chat box now. The ad we're looking at now was $150, and he's confirming that the paper would not allow him to format it the way they wanted it. And no, those are not his listings.
Okay, well, look, you're doing a pretty good job of copying there, Ernest. I have no problem with that. I would recommend running that over top of your listings, just because that's what I did. That's what Todd did. You're going to have a lot of eyeballs on that page when they're looking at your listings, and they look above your listings and they say you, and they see your performance guarantee.
Yeah, you can get some mileage out of that standalone performance guarantee ad in the real estate section surrounded by people's listings. You know, so we've had agents successful with those performance guarantee ads surrounded by other people's listings, because you're in a place where eyeballs are, just like you talked about, Craig. So, but yeah, having your own ad where you can control everything, including the property ads, is a little better, but absent having those properties, it's a pretty good opportunity there. And it's obviously a superior performance guarantee ad or USP ad than the one right next to it from Aloha Kai Real Estate. You know,
a lot of times our members will say, well, I can't do the guaranteed sale program because I don't have any listings. Well, if you run the guaranteed sale program, you will get lots of listings. That's why you're running the guaranteed sale offer, because you want people that want to buy and sell to contact you. So the fact that you don't have many listings or you don't have any listings at all is not the reason not to do it. It is the reason to do it. Okay, Alex from Newmarket says the Guaranteed Sale Manual has, is that we are now, the Guaranteed Sale Manual, because it has some examples?
Yes, this is one of the closest examples I've been able to find so far.
Okay, so you notice it's on a full page with all my listings. It says, move up to any one of my listings, and I'll buy your home for cash. For more information on my exclusive trade-up program, you can call the recorded number or visit craigproctor.com, and there's a picture of me next to the headline. This is the difference between USP advertising and branded advertising. We're all taught to get our name out there, to brand ourselves, to create an awareness, and we've been told that that's the secret to success in real estate. But we all know that we've had friends and relatives, people that knew us quite well, list their home with someone else. So there must be something missing, right? Like, these people knew who you were. So obviously, just creating an awareness, just getting people to know that you're a real estate agent isn't quite enough. And that's the difference with USP advertising. Branded advertising says, hey, I'm a real estate agent. USP advertising creates an awareness of you, but linked to your identity is a very specific, intangible benefit. So when people think of you, they understand what makes you different and better than any of the realtors you compete against. And Todd, in your marketplace, you are known as the guy that will buy your home for cash.
That's right.
So if we go back to the first example, let's go back to that first ad. You don't want the prospects having to search for your name. I mean, granted, I'm looking at this and it's shrunken, but I'm looking at this in a desktop, but certainly I think we'd agree that Bob does not stand out here. This ad is about Bob. That's what this ad's about. This ad is about Bob, and we're trying to link to Bob's identity a very specific and powerful benefit, which is the Guaranteed Sale Program. So I look at this, I got to find, well, who is this guy? Well, I got to search and find that. I mean, the crazy part is under the KW logo, you see where Bob's got his California license number? To me, his California license number stands out more than his name. And then we've got this awesome headline, your home sold, guaranteed or I'll buy it, but then we fail to tell people what to do. What do you want me to do? Well, Bob would say, well, it's there. It's next to my right elbow. But we got the picture of the barber shop in between there. I mean, I'm not getting that. I mean, here I am looking for this call to action, and I didn't see it until a few minutes into this. Anyway, point made. Let's go to ad number 3, please. All right. Just another ad from Ernest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Your home sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it myself. Call me today for your free, no obligation market analysis.
This was the free one he's confirming on the chat.
You'd have been way better off running the find out what your home is worth online ad, or find out what homes in the neighborhood are selling for to generate seller leads.
Yep.
In that format, in that skyscraper format, it would have just you just get more leads there. So it really depends on what you're trying to do with the ad. So for me, like the other ad that Ernest had, okay, that's pretty good. I mean, he's doing a good job of promoting his unique selling proposition, where listings are. This ad's obviously in the news section of the paper. editorial news section of the paper. So you'd want to leverage that probably with more news-oriented type ads, or the home evaluation ad. Craig, I know that you taught me how to take advantage of extra space throughout the news section of the paper with the home evaluation ad. We just crushed it. It was good for several listings a month, peppering the paper with that. Find out what your home is worth online, or find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for in that classified display look. That would be probably more effective here than an ad that you can't quite get the way that you want it to.
Right. Or how about running an editorial style ad, since you're in the editorial section?
Yeah.
What I don't care for with this, Ernest, is there is no non-threatening way for prospects to raise their hands. Okay, your only call to action is to call me. Now, the best ones will. Okay, so the best people will, they'll pick up the phone and, how do I call you? Yeah, you're right. I got to go. Andrea, she's on top of the game here. She has a question mark. You say, call me today for a free, no obligation market analysis, and then I got to really search to find your number. Andrea found it. Good for you, Andrea, and she circled it. But that's why she's got that red question mark next to the call to action. You tell me to call you, but then you don't give me a phone number. Now, just to finish my thought on this, the best ones will probably do that. But what about all of the other prospects in your marketplace that aren't quite ready to speak to a real estate agent? What if you offered a non-threatening way for those prospects to get some more information on how the guaranteed sale program works, just like you did in the ad we looked at? Let's go back to the other performance guarantee ad that Ernest ran. Okay, so Ernest knew to do it here. He knew to do it here. It says, no gimmicks. For information on my exclusive guaranteed sale program, order a free report by going to ErnieGuaranteedSale.com, or free recorded message, or call me. So the best ones, yeah, they'll pick up the phone and call you direct, but you're giving no chance for the people that aren't quite ready to do that to raise their hands in ad number 3. So sometimes even when we have members, do it right in one example, in the next example, it doesn't happen. Let's go to ad number 4, please.
Now, ad number 4 is from Ellen. It's not an ad, but it's a logo that she wanted some information on. Ellen, I believe she wanted to get on the session live with us. If you're on, Ellen, let me know via chat or raise your hand. Okay.
Is this an ad?
This is a logo, and she wanted your opinion on it. She's going to come on live here. I have her line. Ellen, are you on? Say hello.
Ellen's the shy type.
Ellen, if you're saying something, we cannot hear you. If you could just type in the chat box so we can help you out with this logo. She also emailed a question to James, which I believe James forwarded it to you and Todd. Todd, did you receive that, or would you like me to read the question aloud?
I did get it. It's this question for today's ad clinic. It's from Ellen at the Levy team. Mm-hmm. I've been using very nice Remax presentation folders for years for listing and contract presentation materials. I'm thinking of having presentation folders printed with my own very nice, professionally done logo and USP. Does it seem to you that it would be worth the extra expense? I would be promoting myself rather than my company or franchise. I have the same question with regard to business envelopes. So the obvious answer is, look, your unique selling proposition is your brand, and your brand is your USP. So the easiest way to get listings is for our members to promote their unique selling proposition. And so wherever I see your face, wherever I see your name, yeah, we want to see your USP and call to action. It's all one and the same. So don't think in terms of a logo for yourself or your team separate from your USP. try to blend them together and create them one if you're going to have a logo at all. So Craig mentioned to everybody a little bit earlier that I was known as the guy in Atlanta, Georgia, that would buy your home if it didn't sell. That was my logo. So my unique selling proposition was the brand. And so wherever you saw my face and my name, my logo was your home sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it.
Okay,
and,
so here's the litmus test. When we look at this, does this logo answer this question? And here's the most important question that anyone is ever going to ask you as long as you're a real estate agent. You ready? Why should I choose to do business with you versus any other option? Does this logo answer that question? Why should I do business with you? What is unique about you? Is this message being communicated with the logo? Now let's go back and look at Ernest. Let's have a look at his ad. Okay, your home guaranteed, or I'll sell it myself. Or your home, your home guaranteed, your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it myself. The point that Todd's making is that would make a better logo. You see, we're surrounded by graphic artists, people at the newspapers and magazines that are more interested in pretty, in how something looks versus in how something works. And that logo, Alan, sure is pretty.
Yeah, but
it doesn't answer the question as to what makes you unique, what makes you special, why should I favor you versus any other realtor? What are you going to do for me?
It kind of reminds me of, Craig, conversations that I'll have with agents. They'll hand me their business card at conferences and things like that and say, what do you think about my business card? And I look at it and I'm like, well, it has no unique selling proposition. It makes no offer. And it's no different than all the other agents' business cards. I said, so you probably want to consider changing that right away with unique selling proposition and offer and to make them look like this. And, and I'll show them some examples. And then they'll say things, well, I just got like 2,000 of these business cards and I spent a lot of money on them. So when I get done with those, then I'll do that. And I'm like, dude, that's wrong thinking right there. You got to throw those things away now and use something that works. So I'm sensitive to people spending money and investing money in graphic design and making things look good and stuff like that. But the answer is it an asset or is it a liability? And the current logo, although it looks nice, I don't even know what it is they represent or what they sell or what they do for me as a buyer or anything like that. So it has none of that. It's useless in terms of getting business.
Okay,
And,
I think Ellen says her mic might be working now. Let's test it out.
Ellen, I've opened your line. Say hello.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. How you doing?
Okay. Okay. So the idea was not just to put my pretty logo on folders, but a logo plus the USP, and whether you think that it would be worth an investment in logo plus USP presentation folders versus a nice Remax presentation folder that simply has good content inside it when I send it to people.
Yeah, I mean, you can have the picture of the Capitol building there. It's just not going to do anything for your business. As long as you know, it might make you feel good and it might look pretty and someone might compliment you on it. But if we go back, Andrew, if we go back to Bob's ad, the first ad we looked at, this is a logo. Bob took the guaranteed sale headline and he made it into a logo. Now, there's a lot of things wrong with Bob's ad, but if you want a pretty looking logo, are we looking at number one yet?
Oh, number one. I'm sorry. I got confused on which one we're looking at.
That's Ernest. We want Bob.
Bob's.
Bob's
Okay,
at
Bob's.
number one, yeah.
Yep. Okay, right there. Okay, see, Ellen, that's kind of pretty.
Yep.
And it's red and blue. That'd fit right in with your Remax. So if you want to keep the Capitol building there, you want to, you need to have something like that in there.
Sounds good.
Okay, so and I think Bob probably got that from Success website. So this is you know, they took this, the graphic artists at Success website, I believe, they took my not so pretty headline and they made it, you know, they had their graphic people work on it and they came up with something like that. So if we could, I mean, I wish, Andrea, you could just like cut that out and stick that on Ellen's example there, and that would make it a lot better. But we still need a call to action.
Okay.
So we have to watch this because all these evil forces are working against us, and they're all around us. Whenever I would submit anything to the newspaper, and Todd, I know you have this experience as well, their graphic people would want to pretty it up. They would think that what we were submitting was butt ugly. And you know, maybe it is, but I'm not interested in how something looks. I'm interested in how it works. So that's the, you know, this probably should have a picture of you or your team. Maybe it's got, if this is going to be an offer folder, is it, or a folder
Yes.
for your listing?
Yeah, I'm going to use it in general for it to hand materials to buyers or sellers.
Okay, so I would have probably a picture of you and your team because you want your team members to go out and represent you, and you don't want buyers and sellers saying, I only want to deal with Ellen. So I would have your USP. I would have a picture of you and your team, and I would have a call to action. Because this might be the only piece that they keep. You know, you could hand this to a buyer and seller, and they might lose everything else, but you would want to be able to tell people who get this who you are, what makes you better and different than all the other realtors in your area, and a call to action. Tell them what to do.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, Ellen, good stuff. Thanks for submitting this. Hey, when you redo this, can you send it back to us? Like I don't mind working with you on this.
I think it's very valuable, and I'm thrilled, and thank you.
Yeah. So we can go back and forth on this. We don't have to do it in the ad clinic, but either Todd and I are happy to help you with this.
Sounds good. Hey, Andrea, can you throw Craig's ad back up there? His USP.
I can.
Ad?
Give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
See if there's any other questions here.
Okay. And just so everyone knows that where I got this marketing manual was from the marketing library. So everyone will have access to that. Okay.
Yeah, that's a double page spread, by the way.
That's a two-page spread. That's fine. You can leave it there. So, Craig, I noticed early on when I connected up with you in the mid-'90s that you did not have a logo. Like your USP was the logo. So, I just
okay. Now remember, I don't know if you know this. It wasn't always that way.
Right.
You know, when I first got into real estate, do you know that I actually trademarked a logo? And my slogan, if you want to call it that, was ultimate exposure. It did nothing for me, but I was convinced, like a lot of us are when we get into the business, I need a slogan, I need a logo, I need my thing. So I hired a lawyer. I spent, I don't know how much, I'm sure it was a lot of money, and I actually trademarked it. And the reason I trademarked it, this is how stupid I was, is I thought some other agent would want to steal my slogan. Well, it was worthless to my business. I should have hoped that one of my competitors would steal it, not be afraid of it. So that was my thinking, is I need a logo, I need a slogan. So it was Craig Proctor, and if you look way back at my ads, we should pull some of my old ads just for fun, just to embarrass me. We should pull some up on one of these ad clinics. But that's what I thought. So when Todd and I are talking to you guys about your ads, we've made all these mistakes. We're not like high up on the mountain saying, well, we've never done this. We've been in the trenches like you. We've made the same mistakes that all of you have made when it comes to your marketing and advertising. But that's what I had. I had this logo. And Ellen, I'm sure I probably had brochures made up and notepads made up, and it'd have a picture of me, and it said ultimate exposure. I guess there was some kind of benefit to that, right? Like if you list your home with me, I'll give your home ultimate exposure. There was no call to action. I didn't think that far. It's like picture of me and ultimate exposure, and I guess it had my phone number on it. But it certainly, you know, was pretty. My stuff was pretty, was really pretty. But I don't think it made me any money.
No, the funny thing about the pretty ads is that's what the majority of the agents try to do. They try to make their ads look good, pretty them up. And when you do that, they all kind of look the same. Nobody stands out. And, you know, so one thing about your marketing, Craig, is that it stands out because it's different than the other folks in the Euro banner. And that's what I discovered. My original logo that I come up with before I connected up with you was Win with Walters. How about that one?
Yeah.
Win with Walters. And it actually had Win with Walters, and it was like a horse race. There were jockeys on some horses that were racing right next to my photo. And I spent like a lot of money and time with these guys trying to do that. And, of course, when I connected up with you, you know, I had a paradigm change. It's like, what in the freak am I spending all this money and time on something that's not going to get me anything in terms of business, or people can't remember. Folks only buy a house every, on average 7.5 years. They're not going to remember logos, but they will remember what you do for sure. So,
all right, here's a question from Florence. I'll give this one to you, Todd. If I were to run the USP, your home sold, for full price, or I'll pay you the difference, wouldn't the sellers tend toward negotiating out of my commission when negotiating the price? Or is that offer just to get your foot in the door, and the seller and the agent are not intended to agree on price from the get-go, so the offer would never be applied? Okay, so let's look at that offer. Your home sold for full price, or I'll pay the difference. In a lot of your marketplaces right now, houses, I know in Toronto right now, houses are selling for 100% of market value or over. So it's a great way to, as you say, get your foot in the door. People will call you on that. But there's going to be rules to these conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the first rule, the most important rule, is that the seller has to agree on your assessment of price. They have to list it at your price. So if you're in a super hot market like Toronto, and the seller has to list at your price to get this guarantee, and you price it right, well, we know the house is going to sell for at or over market value. Now, you wouldn't want to make this offer if you were in a slow market. If you're in a slow market, you might want to use days on the market. You know, your home sold in X amount of days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash, or whatever the penalty would be. Anything you want to add to that, Todd?
Yep. Yeah, the conditions for all of these performance guarantees, they're not that much different. Like your home sold at your price, or I'll pay you the difference. You know, agent and seller must agree on price. Agent and seller must agree on the difference to be paid, if any. And obviously, the agent gets to negotiate the deal. Like in our listing agreements, Craig, and in our buyer agreements, it says right there that we're going to represent, you know, our client and negotiate on their behalf to get them the best deal. So we're already being charged with negotiating. So I get that a lot of real estate agents don't negotiate; they just message the offer back and forth. So one of the things that we do in our Platinum Outside Sales Agent workshops, you know, we got one coming up in Toronto here in a few weeks. We work on that. Like we actually work on how to negotiate versus being a messenger. You know, because you know what they do with messengers. So So yeah, that's part of the deal, is that you get to negotiate it out. So in other words, if you get an offer, you're using that guarantee, an offer comes in, and it's less than the asking price for what you've guaranteed, and the seller says, okay, I'll take it. Well, then that's not one of the conditions. Is the seller can do that, but avoids the guarantee or the certificate that you have signed with the seller, because one of the conditions is we negotiate it out to the buyer. To the buyer says, I ain't going anywhere. So those are the obvious conditions to that performance guarantee, and I would recommend that if you're using these performance guarantees, that you get your sellers to sign off on something. In fact, Craig, I think we're right in the middle of adding some of those certificates and conditions to the ad generator.
Well, we have them there. They're just not attached. They're just not attached to the ads. So, Andrea, if you go to the certificate generator, I believe most of the certificates for the ads in the ad generator are actually in the certificate generator. Adrian just hasn't got them linked to the ads in the ad generator yet.
Yeah, we're going to link those up, and that'll make it a little bit easier for people to connect the dots there. But let's be straight up on this too. We're making a promise, and it's a legitimate promise. And promises are designed, or guarantees, risk reversal promises. They're designed to get our foot in the door, but they're also based in absolute truth and reality. This is how we do things. You know, like if you're consistent at getting sellers their price, and you have a history of doing that, then why wouldn't you not guarantee that, you know, as a performance guarantee to all of your prospects that you're marketing to? So it's a legitimate idea. It's not designed to bait and switch anything. You're just holding yourself accountable, because that's how you do business anyway. Yeah, there they are.
You want to pop open one of those certificates? Let's say your home sold in 60 days or $1,000. Let's pop that one open, please. Okay, you're all familiar with this, right? You can adjust. You can go in there and you can adjust the fields. So instead of 60 days in edible region number 1, change that to 30 days. And if you're selling expensive homes, maybe that needs to be a $3,000 penalty. Could be $10,000. So anyway, all these fields are adjustable for you. So this is, like Todd says, it's a legitimate offer. We're making them a promise, and just so there's no misunderstandings, we're going to give them in writing all the terms of what we're agreeing to, just so they don't come back later and say, well, I thought it worked this way. Well, everything's spelled out here in advance as to what the prospect's agreeing to. You know, from time to time, Todd, I'll hear skeptical realtors say, well, all these performance guarantees, Craig, they're just a bait and switch. You're just running an ad to get people to call you. And I'll chuckle at that, because I'll say to that realtor, I'll say, well, do you ever run ads that promote your listings? And they'll say, well, of course I do. And I said, well, what percentage of the time when a buyer calls you off of one of your listings, do they end up buying it? Well, you know, that hardly ever happens. I said, then you're guilty of bait and switch. And they look at me and they go, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you know that when you run your property ads, that 90% of the time, the people that you've tricked into calling you about that property are not going to buy it, and then you tell that buyer about other properties that you don't even have listed, and you go sell them one of those other properties. So you're guilty of bait and switch. Every real estate agent in the country is guilty of bait and switch then. Then they don't know what to say. Okay, here's a question from John Brackett. This is in regards to business cards, Todd. John is asking, do you need to have your photo on your USP business card? Would it be as effective just to have your name with the USP and then the call to action? Well, I don't know. What's the answer to that? Do you need to be beautiful to have your picture on your card, or should everyone have?
No, but you know what? I've got some unique perspective on that. When we got the big idea to promote our logo or team name in place of my picture on our performance guarantee, your home sold or I'll buy it. And we noticed a decrease in response rates from those offers in our marketplace and our marketing. Went back to my photo, and in response went up. Went back away from it, response goes down. Went back to the photo, went up. So the conclusion was, in surveying people, it was quite simple. When you're making a pretty bold promise of, hey, I'm going to sell your home's going to sell or I'm going to buy it, then there is something to say for people looking at who is making that kind of
I agree. You're
promise.
standing behind the promise. It's like, I'm giving you my word. Your home sold in X amount of days, or I'll buy it, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash. You're taking ownership of this guarantee. Prospects want to know, who am I dealing with here? Who's the person making this promise to me? It's a promise. So I think if you look at all of my marketing, it always had the USP next to my picture. If you go to the ad generator, that's why there's a little spot there in the top left-hand corner. It says your picture.
Yeah, I think it's important. And I have direct experience with testing it, and we found that it was just way better to personally back that up with a photo. So,
all right, Karen's asking this question. Hi, Craig and Todd. What was your standard listing term, number of months when using the guarantee? Well, I think that's going to depend on what's happening in your marketplace, Todd, right? So if you're in a real hot market or you're in a slow market, your average days on the market, that's going to determine the type of the length of the guarantee.
Yep, absolutely. Or how you promote it.
Well, and let me say this, Karen, if you're in a real hot market, the guaranteed sale program doesn't work that well. Sellers are not worried about their house selling in a super hot market. So, we have a lot of members in Toronto right now where the market's really hot. Homes are selling overnight. There's 5 offers on every property. They're saying, well, I'm not getting such a great response on my ad that says your home sold in 120 days or I'll buy it. Well, I don't think sellers in Toronto are worried about it taking 120 days to sell their home, or concerned about their home not selling when everything on their street in the last year has sold in under a couple days. All right, so you've got to make your performance guarantee. It has to make sense with the market. So if you're in Toronto right now where the market's hot, you might want to run a different performance guarantee. How about this? Your home sold for 105% of the market of your asking price within 48 hours, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash. That's aggressive, right? Your home sold for 105% of your asking price within 48 hours, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash. All right, let's have a look at our next ad.
This is a business card.
All right. Can we make it bigger?
We can. Hold on one second.
Your home sold in 120 days or I will waive my commission.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Hear a brief recorded message and receive a free guaranteed report. You call 1-800 blah blah blah, you enter your ID number.
Yeah. My only observation, Craig, and I know you've got some comments on it, is that I don't think you need to give away all your money to be effective.
Yeah, that's why if you're going to do this, I would start with your home sold in X amount of days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash. I would rather risk $1,000 than all of it. I would certainly start there.
Yeah. Plus, there's something to say for when a real estate agent, and I've been told this before in similar marketing where educated homeowners are like, well, then if you're not getting paid to sell my house, like what kind of incentive is that? So
why are you going to try?
Yeah. So anyway, there's several holes and leaks in it, but yeah, I think what we tell our coaching members is there's no reason to give away all your commission when reversing the risk. So
But I like the layout. I like the fact that Debbie has her picture there. She's got her headline. Debbie, I'd probably remove the underline under guaranteed, and I'd remove the underline under the phone number, because lines like that act as a stop sign to the prospect's eyeballs. So I'd just take that out of there. And where it says, hear a brief recorded message and receive my free guaranteed report, I'd probably change that to say, hear a brief message, that explains this program, or to request a report that explains this program.
Or it could just copy the ad generator.
Yeah, you could do that as a last resort. And let's look at the flip side of that. $5,000 savings on your home purchase, or I will pay you $1,000 at settlement guaranteed. Hear a brief recorded message and receive my free report. Not bad. Again, I take the underline off of the phone number, but this is pretty good. Like, you know, this is better than 99.9% of business cards that Todd and I look at.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to ad number 6, please. Okay, well, we've got some reading to do here. I have been sending out 4,000 of these and have not had much luck according to my numbers on Success website. In July, I had 30 people visit my landing page and 1 submitted their info. As Craig mentioned on the role play call today, we discovered that my Success website is not mobile friendly, so I've asked them to make that change. However, they tell me that it'll take 1 to 2 weeks. Since I just dropped 4,000 at the post office on Thursday, I went ahead and had the domain name moved, so it now points to a Bold Leads landing page. I am testing what the difference would be if it points to a Bold Leads landing page. I have also attached a screenshot of my Success website landing page in hopes that you can take a look at that and tell me if there was a disconnect. Okay, so do we have the landing page? We can go to the landing page, right?
We can. Yes, we can. So give me
Actually,
1 second.
I don't think we can. Okay, I know. Okay, so I know this is from Sandy.
Oh, yes.
All right, so this is from Sandy Casella, and I met with Sandy, and I think I told you this, Todd. There's like a local chapter in Toronto.
Yeah.
Of our platinum members, and they get together once a month. And this month, it was being held at the KW office here in Newmarket, so I dropped by, and we had coffee and donuts, and we talked about things. And here's what happened. One of the questions I was asking the mastermind group is, you know, what things are working the best for you? And one of the things that was working the best for most of the members was this postcard. And I said, well, that doesn't surprise me because that's what worked really well for me. But then Sandy says, well, hang on a second, it's not working for me. And I was a little bit surprised by that. And I said, well, what's the postcard look like? I'm thinking, you know, my brain right away thinks, well, she didn't copy the postcard. But Sandy says, no, that's not true. I ordered the postcards through BXL. So now I know that that's not the issue, because if Sandy ordered the postcards through BXL, there'll be an absolute copy of mine. So then my brain starts thinking, okay, well, what about the website? And I ask Sandy to look at the stats and go into her control panel, and sure and behold, she discovered there were like 30 people that had responded to her postcard that go to her landing page, and only one person, only one lead, only one person fills out the form. So when she goes to her Success website, and we look at that landing page in the group meeting this week.
It's what we're looking at now.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks okay here, right? Everyone thinks that looks okay, right? And the reason it looks okay is because we're on a desktop. But in this meeting, when I was at the KW office in Newmarket, what did I have on me? I had my iPhone. So when I look at Sandy's landing page on my iPhone, I realize, okay, here's the problem. We have 2 problems with this. Number one, she doesn't have the responsive site. Okay, the responsive site through Success website means that no matter what device you're on, it's going to adjust. It should adjust to the device, whether it's an iPad or an iPad mini or an iPhone or an Android, doesn't matter, it should adjust. Well, she didn't have that version. And Sandy says, well, I thought that that was going to happen. That's what Success website told me, is they're automatically going to upgrade everybody to a responsive site. But to her disappointment, when she called Success website, they told her, well, no, you have to call us and request that. We don't just automatically do it. So that's what she's saying in her note here is, okay, so I spent all this money on these postcards. Now they're telling me it's going to take 2 weeks to make this happen, when I was under the impression that this had already happened, because that's what they told me. So everyone with us here today better make sure that they've got a responsive site. So how do we know if we have a responsive site? Can you go to, okay, who's got a responsive site that we know of, Todd, that we can go to?
I believe your site is responsive, isn't it, Craig?
Well, I don't know. Let's check it out.
Okay.
You go to mine. I wouldn't bet the farm on it, but let's go to YorkRegionHomesales.com, and then you try to make it smaller, and let's see if mine's responsive. Okay, so go into any one of my landing pages. Go to the same landing page, I guess. Okay, now adjust the size. Yeah. Okay, so is mine responsive? Okay, so mine's responsive. Now, if you make that bigger or smaller, it's going to fit. Okay, so adjust it bigger. Okay, so mine's responsive. Okay, now Sandy's was not responsive. Do you know Sandy's, I guess we don't know her website because she's got it forwarded now to the Bold Lead site, right? Okay, so that's the Bold Lead site.
Yes, it's forwarded to Bold Leads. The only thing I can show is the picture.
Okay, so does everyone understand why Sandy forwarded it to the Bold Leads landing page? Because when people look at her landing page on a mobile phone, on her Success site, it doesn't fit the device.
Hey, her website, Andrea, is thinkhomebuying.ca. THINK, homebuying.ca, thinkhomebuying.ca.
Okay, now why is this really important today that it's mobile friendly? Well, because half the prospects at least are looking at the marketing that we do through their smartphone. You know, and every year, a higher and higher percentage of your prospects are looking at your marketing through their smartphone. Okay, so try to make this smaller. There. Okay. So that's what prospects are looking at. If you're on a phone, make it maybe even a little smaller, like an iPhone. Okay. So when I pull up, I'm in this meeting, Todd, this week, and when I pull up, when I respond to Sandy's postcard, that's what I see on my smartphone. So I know right away. Well, there's your problem.
That's not good.
It doesn't. You know, 50% of the people that go there on a mobile phone, they're just going to go away. So that's the lesson for today. You better make sure that your website is responsive. Let's go to ad number 7, please. Oh, Sandy says they've changed it now. Okay, well, if we just looked at it, Sandy, it's not working if they changed it. If that was, in fact, your website. All you have to do, Sandy, is go and make your, minimize it and make sure it fits the window. Okay, ad number 7. Find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for. What's my desertridgehomeworth.com? Okay, well, this is, pretty much right out of our collection. Is there a backside to that? or an opposite side to that postcard, Andrea?
This is all that was loaded and
Let's go
emailed
to that
to me.
domain name and see what we've got there. My Desert Ridge. What's my Desert Ridge Homeworth.com?
This is going to take me just a second. Hold on one moment.
Okay. Hey, Todd, you know where Desert Ridge is?
I do, man. It's one of my favorite places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to go back there, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
I love their pina coladas.
Does not look like one of your sites.
Nope.
Yeah, combining those less branded offers with, branded marketing like on this landing page, it's just not very effective. It diminishes response.
Repeat that again so everybody gets that.
Yeah, anytime you combine our less branded marketing system, okay, with branded marketing, as done on this landing page. So we go from a less branded site. I'm all excited about getting information on my home's value, and when I get there, I've got the real estate agent staring me in the face. Everybody needs to know that there's a disconnect. It diminishes response. It's like, oh, it's a real estate agent. So, and some agents would say, well, that's fine, because I don't want them if they. But the way it works is when people begin to consider making a move, they typically don't want anything to do with the real estate agent. They want to be sold to. So you want to continue that, like you want to embrace that, and that's what our less branded marketing system does. So you don't want to get in between the prospect and what it is they want. Okay, don't do that. Don't put yourself in between the prospect and what they want. Go ahead and give them what they want, and then after you get the lead, then you go branding them.
I think our industry does a pretty heavy-duty job on trying to convince us that the public does want us. I mean, that's what we're led to believe, and that's why you see real estate agents focusing on looking professional and all their designations and getting a glamour shot and having things airbrushed, and I've got to look a certain way, because if I look a certain way and I look important and I look professional, I'm the kind of person that buyers and sellers would want. But you hit the nail on the head. Buyers and sellers don't want a real estate agent. Let's go back to the basics, because I'm not sure everyone understands what it is that buyers and sellers really want. Todd, what is the one thing over all of the things that buyers want?
Houses.
Houses, not real estate agents, houses. If you were to survey a gazillion buyers and you were to ask them, hey, what's the number one thing that you want? Hey, man, I just want houses. If they could buy, if a buyer could buy a home and get the home of their dreams at the best possible price without ever having to deal with or speak to a real estate agent, if they had that option, they would all choose to do it that way. Let me give you some proof. When it comes to you folks, if you could buy the car of your dreams and get the best possible price on that car with no hassle at all, and you never ever had to negotiate and go back and forth with a salesperson, you didn't have to deal with a salesperson, you could get the car of your dreams at the best price without a salesperson, how many of you would do that?
Me.
Yeah. The salesperson gets in the way. That's why we go to the car dealership on Sunday when we know it's closed. We don't want to deal with the salesperson. Okay, let's go to sellers. What is it that sellers want?
Buyers.
How easy is that, folks? Buyers want houses and sellers want buyers. Let's talk about why this is important. Again, most real estate agents have it beaten into their heads. What a seller wants is a seller wants an agent, and a seller wants to list their home. So, Todd, an agent would go to your home, and they would talk in those terms. Like, Todd, if you list with me, I know you want to list your house. The seller doesn't want to list their home. That's why the part of our listing presentation that works the best is the part of the presentation where I say to Todd, hey, Todd, I have over 300 buyers in my database right now that are looking for a home in your price range. And should you decide to list your home with me, the very first thing that I would do is I would email information on your property out to the over 300 buyers I'm currently working with. Sometimes we get a match right away. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost like I've been looking for a buyer for your home before you and I even met tonight. What's the seller thinking? The seller's thinking, well, the other realtors I interviewed, all they wanted to talk about is me listing their home, right? Or them listing the house. They want to talk about if I list with them, what they would go to do to try to go look for a buyer. But they're trying to convince me I need to list. That's not up there in the seller's mind. Listing their home is not up there. In the realtor's mind, yes, it's all about getting the listing. In the seller's mind, what's the seller want again? Number one thing the seller wants? Buyers. So be the agent that has the buyers. If the seller believes in their mind that you're the agent that has all the buyers, well, guess what? That jives with what the seller wants. So here's the thing. We can't give buyers and sellers what they want until or unless we understand what it is that buyers and sellers want. So when I say to Todd, hey, Todd, what is it that buyers want? Todd says houses. What is it that sellers want? Buyers. It's that simple. And we've got to keep this in front of us because everything else is a distraction. And the real estate association, the real estate board, our franchises, everybody's telling us we've got to be professional. We've got to look a certain way. We've got to have a nice logo. We've got to have our designations. Because that's what people want. People want a real estate agent. And that's why our next ad looks and works so great. Because it has nothing to do with an agent. It says how to sell your house without an agent, how to sell your Clovis house without an agent and save the commission. It does not look like this looks like an article. It looks like news from the newspaper. It appears to have nothing to do with a real estate agent and even talks about how to not have to deal with a real estate agent. There's no surprise as to why this ad works so well. Is it true? Could it be true for you that the best ad you'll ever run is an ad that says how to not use us? Check it out if you haven't tried it. It was one of my best ads. Doesn't look like it's from a realtor, and it talks about how to not use one. But the idea here is we'll get people to call us, and the truth is most of the respondents here will never sell their home for sale by owner. But they're curious. They're going to check out that option. But when the rubber hits the road, they're just going to list their home with you. And this is way better, by the way, than what other agents do when it comes to FSBOs. Other agents, here's their approach. They wait. Well, they don't wait. They don't even know the prospect is selling their home until it's too late, really. Until the for sale by owner sign is on the front lawn, until the FSBO ad is in the newspaper online. And now you're in competition with dozens or hundreds of other realtors. When you're in competing against that massive competition, what's the chance of you, first of all, even getting the listing, let alone getting it at the right price and the right commission rate? Let's agree, it's not good. Let's go to ad number 9, please.
Well, we haven't looked at 8 yet. This is an editorial submitted by Stephen Chen.
Well, that's the one we just talked about. We just talked about 8, so we can go to 9.
We talked about this editorial?
Yep.
Okay.
Or did I just dream we talked about it?
I don't remember talking about it, but I think we were talking about the ad number 7, but I could be wrong.
I think you're wrong. We talked about 7, and then we talked about what buyers and sellers want, which led me into the conversation on 8.
Okay.
All
Go
right,
to ad
let's go
number
to
9.
number 9.
Number 9.
Ad number 9. Okay, Todd, you and I talked about this prior to our ad clinic today. So what's your opinion on this?
Well, there's no, like, who's I? Like, that would be number 1. Like, who's I? And the other side of it is that buyers want houses. So this performance guarantee works pretty well when it identifies the agent as someone who saves homes for buyers, but the agent's missing here, and it's getting eyeballs on it from buyers, which means that buyers are looking for houses. So you want to be in a place where listings are with your photo, and then it can be effective for sure. But so there's a few holes in it. Place would be one of them, position of the ad, and like, who's I?
Okay, Tom is asking, hi Craig, should I change to a bold leads landing page? Tom, you don't want a branded page like you've got now. You don't want that when you're trying to generate leads, right? Your postcard is less branded. You've got to go to a landing page that's less branded. So your choices are get the success website and make sure it's responsive, or yes, you can URL forward over to the bold leads landing page that Sandy's now using. And Sandy got that idea, by the way, from Sam. You know Sam, Todd?
Mm-hmm.
Sam has been driving his traffic from the online home evaluation postcard to his bold leads landing page, and find that it works quite well. Let's have a look at ad number next, please. And go ahead and type your chat questions in, or comments for Todd and I. We welcome that. Team Platinum. Ira Miller. Guess this is a business card. I don't see a unique selling proposition anywhere on that business card.
Yep, no USP, no call to action, no offer. So for the business cards, like, it's easy just to copy the USP.
There it is. There it is. There's the other side. So he's got it on one side.
Yeah, but it should be on both.
Plus, if we go to the flip side there, if we look at ad number 11, which is the flip side, the other side of Ira's business card, doesn't tell me what to do. It says your home sold in 120 days or less, or I will list it for free. Todd, as you said a few minutes ago, you're not big on that free offer. But still, there's no call to action. That's an offer, right? That's called an offer. Your home sold in 120 days or less, or I'll list it for free. But what are you telling the prospect to do? You're not telling the prospect to do anything. Not even like call your cell phone number, not call your office. There's no non-threatening way to get more information. So clearly, not following the formula on the USP ad generator. Let's go to ad number 12, please.
There is no ad number 12. That was it. But Tom did email me the second side, or the other side of his postcard. So I have that. I'm going to pull that up in just 1 second. We had looked at this at ad number 7.
Hey, go back to that last ad. Alexandra made a great point, and I didn't catch that, Alexandra. Okay, so Alexandra says, well, listing a home is always free. All right, look what Ira has here. Your home sold in 120 days or less, or I will list it for free. Should say I'll sell it for free. Alexandra's point is, well, it's always free to list your home. Good point, Alexandra. I didn't catch that. But true. All right, sorry, Andrea.
Okay. Tom, he resent the PDF, so now we're seeing both sides of his postcard on the screen now.
Okay, cool. Very close to, what we tell you to run. I have no problem there. as you've heard me say before, I'm not going to criticize my own work. I don't see any problem with the postcard. Do you, Todd?
No call to action on side 2.
Well, let's have a look. Yeah, he's right.
Another thing too, in the postcards that that we've tested over the years, Craig, the one that has an image of what the report might look like that the prospect would get.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so I think maybe Sandy's postcard has that. I don't know. I know that Tony's postcard had that, where it's got the pictures of what the report, like a sample of what the report looks like, where Tom, he just took the picture of the mouse and flipped it on both sides. But I didn't catch that. Good eyeball, Todd. Is there really no call to action?
No call to action on side 2, but he's combined the area home sales report with the home evaluation offer. So if you look at page 1 of the postcard a little closer, find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for, but it's the home evaluation ad, an offer on the front side.
Right. Okay. So the find out, the top example there, find out what your homes in your neighborhood are selling for, I think is pretty close to what I've got. But on the flip side, it should say, it should offer an online home evaluation, and it doesn't, although the copy below is the copy for the online home evaluation. Okay, there's the call to action. It's buried there. Do you see it? It says you don't have to talk to anyone. Just visit free Desert Ridge homesalelist.com.
Yeah, we don't want to make the prospect work that hard. Like
you missed it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, we're having to work hard, and hell, it's our marketing. So,
so let's just do this. Andrea, can you pull up my version of this postcard, and is there a way to have them side by side?
I can make that happen. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. All right. So Tom, all we want you to do is copy.
Yeah. Well, he may think he is copying. I don't know. So.
Yeah, good point. A lot of our members, that's exactly what they're thinking. Well, I thought I did copy it.
Yeah.
They're not intending not to copy. It's just it's different. Okay, let's see if Andrea can pull this off.
My computer is saying no, I cannot do that, so give me just 1 second.
Just go to our postcards then. Just go to our postcards and we'll flip back and forth. It's not quite as good, but it will make that work.
Okay. And it was...
what are you doing this weekend, Mr. Walters?
Well, tomorrow I've got my entire family, mom, dad, in-laws, aunts, uncles coming to the house. We're going to do a bit of cookout and play around on the lake tomorrow because my daughter's headed back to college next week. So we're going to take the opportunity to celebrate her going away. Celebrate the end of the summer.
Very cool. Okay, so let's pull up the area home sales report side first, because Tom has that one pretty much nailed, I think. Okay, find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for. Okay, yeah, he's messed this up here because it says for a free quick online evaluation. So that's the online form. Okay, you know what? There's too much wrong here, Tom, for us to talk about. What you need to do is just go back and print off my postcards and lay them next to yours. Okay, so that headline is not supposed to say, find out what homes your neighborhood are selling for. It's supposed to say, if you can show my online evaluation postcard, please.
Find out what your home is worth online.
Yeah. Okay, so you caught that. So he's got the copy for the online evaluation, but he changed out the headline.
Mm. And I missed the call to action in the second paragraph because I know on our cards, the call to action is...
Well, let's show the call to action that Tom should have on the flip side.
Yeah, and
right there at the bottom.
That's a really good point. We've discovered that the area home sales report actually responds goes up when we use the information lines over the website. Now, that's on average. There's always exceptions. So if you're not sure, use both. Like, give them the option. They can get.
Well, my mindset was this, Todd. On one side of the postcard, I'm offering an online home evaluation, and I'm driving to a website. On the flip side, I'm offering the area home sales report, and I'm driving them to a hotline. So, you know, I've got something for everybody. Whether they prefer to go a hotline or they prefer to go to the website, it's going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Tom's not doing that. He's driving to a landing page on both sides. But as you've mentioned, the call to action is buried. It doesn't stand out. Where my call to action is right at the bottom, and it says to receive a free computerized area home sales report, call, and then the 1-800 number. You don't look at the size of that 1-800 number. It says 24-hour recorded message. So anyway, just copy the postcards. That's like the right idea, but it's not exactly right. Okay, we're out of time here, Todd. Any words of wisdom as we wrap this up?
Yeah, I would. I like the fact that members are putting marketing together and uploading it to the site and say, "Help me out. You know, what do you think?" I think that's fantastic. That's where it's supposed to be. But we've got on the member site, like, we have the ads, the USP ad generator, and all the other ads, the postcards. Everything's there. So I don't understand sometimes how it gets spun around. Like, why not just make an exact duplicate? Like, Craig, I was guilty in Metro Atlanta here of running ads, and they were so much a copy of yours that many times I forgot to take your name off of the ad, and it would run with Craig Proctor, with my contact. Or I remember one time it had your photo on it instead of mine. Like, so we made it. It was our rule that, hey, we're copying Craig Proctor's business. That's what we bought. We bought into a franchise prototype of his Millionaire Agent business. So if I want a business like that, then it only makes sense that we got to copy it down to the last minute detail. The better we are.
Now you've got some great credibility, not just with your own real estate business and the success you had copying what I did in Metro Atlanta and becoming one of the top agents in the United States, but the agents that you're coaching in the Platinum program and the Titanium program, we know that the best copiers are the most successful realtors. So let's talk a little bit about the best copiers and the kind of results they're getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
like all I'm saying is there's more proof than, okay, well, Craig did it this way and Todd did this way and it works. You've got proof from hundreds of realtors that are in the high 6 and even 7 figures that are just really good copiers.
No, there's no question about it. Like, if we lined up, on a stage, and many people have seen them, at the past conferences, we'll march in, our Platinum program members, and 300 people in there. The average income's over $700,000 in GCI, and that's the average. With a large percentage of those guys making $1 million, $3 million, $5 million, $6 million in gross commission income, and what they do each day, their routine is to get up, go to work, and copy and implement the system that they're paying for. And they understand that it really is, that's their job, is to copy and implement. And the details where they get stuck, they ask, what am I missing here? What do I need to do? How do I do it? And that's what the coaching and training is for. The coaching and training is to help the members implement the Quantum Leap system.
Well said.
Yep.
Okay, folks, look, everyone have a wonderful weekend. We're going to pick this up on Monday morning when we do our weekly helpline. So
Monday is, just to interrupt, is the internet helpline with Six Sense website.
Okay, so Steve is going to be with us, Steve and Christy. So let me restate that and say have your internet or your online marketing questions ready for Monday. And we're going to talk all about your success website and your online marketing. So everyone have a wonderful weekend. Big thanks to Todd Walters and Andrea, as always, for doing a great job here. And most of all, to all of our members, we wish you great success with your marketing. And please do submit your ads for next week's ad clinic, and we're happy to look at them and give you our advice on how we can make them better. So everyone have a wonderful weekend. Take care, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Talk to you all Monday morning. Have a great weekend ahead.